Hello guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a story time about the time this girl spread rumors, so I got back at her. And also I'll be looking in this direction because my mirror is over here, and let's just get straight into today's story time. So back when I was 8 or 9, I had met this girl who we are going to call Jenna. And she lived right across the street from the park. And we kind of didn't like each other at first, but then we actually started to get along, and we became best friends. We were always be hanging out, always be having a super good time together, always like be tumbling in the grass at the park because there was like this long field. We would pretty much just always have a lot of fun together. One thing I had noticed during all these years of being Jenna's friend is she kind of seemed like a pathological liar. Like, I remember the one day she was like, oh yeah, like I saw your friend Aaliyah, like she was killing birds at the park. And Aaliyah was not like that. Like, Aaliyah literally hated dead animals. She hated them as much as me. So that's how I pretty much knew Jenna was becoming a liar. And she would lie about the smallest things, like, oh yeah, like my dad got arrested because he did this, when her dad never even was arrested. And my sister, the reason how I knew her dad was never even arrested was because literally my older sister had her older sister added on Facebook, and pretty much anytime that her dad got arrested, she might post like, oh my god, like I hope he gets like out of jail soon. And she never made one of them posts, and my sister asked her like, hey, question, is your dad in jail? And she was like, no, why? And my sister's like, oh, okay. Eventually, around like 2019, Jenna and I had kind of stopped hanging out as often. We were still like good friends, we just didn't hang out as often anymore because 2019, around that time, was the year that I started like really struggling. So I pretty much would be in bed or hanging out with my actual friend group I had at the time, which is a completely different friend group from the one in the story. But I would be hanging out with them, or I just wouldn't be hanging out with anyone because I didn't know like my now ex friend group at the time. So pretty much eventually fast forward to summer 2021, and my friend that I've known forever, who we call Liz, she comes to my door and she introduces me to all these people. She's like, hey, do you want to go out with us? She introduces me to my current boyfriend, who I didn't even know at the time, and then his younger brothers, Al and R, and then a whole bunch of other people who will come and play later in the story time. I didn't even know, like, if I wanted to, like, have friends, because I went through this phase in, like, the winter where I was lonely, but then I was like, you know what, screw it, I don't want friends anymore. But I decided to become friends with everyone anyway, because why not? And at first, the first couple months of all of us hanging out, it was actually really fun. Like, everyone was super supportive of each other. There was really nothing toxic. And slowly over time, that just started changing. Like, everyone would be, like, super kind of, like, I don't know. They just kind of, like, be so, like, smart asses to everyone. It just wasn't. It was starting to, like, become super, just not a vibe. And then eventually, me and my current boyfriend, well, we didn't know it at the time, but we, like, actually liked each other. He liked me and I liked him, but I didn't know that he liked me back. Well, fast forward to the middle of October, and there's this one weekend where me and then my now ex-best friend, who turns out actually really liked me. I already told that story time on here. But it was me, my now ex-best friend, Ashley, and then my current boyfriend, who we are going to call Ben. We were all hanging out and just, just having a lot of fun. And I had this weird feeling that, like, he's going to ask me out, like, sooner or later. Because I had originally planned on doing it, but I was kind of scared. And then plus I eventually caught COVID, so it's not like I could just be outside, and we didn't have each other's, like, numbers or any way to keep in contact at the time. So it's not like I could even do it over text if I even wanted to. So with that being said, that weekend in the middle of October, he ends up asking me and Ashley for our numbers. Ashley didn't have a phone, But I gave him my number, and later that night I get a text, and we're talking and everything about just our lives and just everything going wrong in general and just random things. And this whole weekend, I've had this feeling, as I said, like, okay, like, it's gonna happen, like, he's gonna ask me out, pretty much. And a couple days later, that's exactly what happened, because one night I was in the bathroom, it was, like, the 18th, yeah, it was the 18th. I was in the bathroom taking my makeup off, because I had just got inside for the night, because I would stay out mad late. Back then, like, I'd be out until, like, 10 o'clock, or, like, sometimes even, like, 10:30 or, like, 11, but rarely. But, like, see, the thing is, my mom wants me on my street if I'm out that late, where she can see me, because with everything and all the fucking weirdos in this world, okay, like, period. So, with that being said, you know, I go in, I take my makeup off, and I have school the next morning. So I didn't stay out too late that night, but I got a text from Ben, and he was like, hey, like, I need to tell you something. You can't judge me for it. And I was like, okay, go ahead, like, I'm not going to judge you for anything. Well, then he's like, so pretty much I actually really like you, and I was wondering if you want to go out sometime. And literally, I was shook, because I did not think anybody would like me back. I still have, like, really bad self-esteem issues like that. But I was just shook, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, like, period. And we set up a date the same week. And we went on the date. It was super fun. And then not too long after we started dating, because we tried to keep it secret at first, but then we realized, you know, why don't we just tell everyone, because it's not even gonna work. Like, they're gonna find out eventually. Like, the friend group is mad big. They're just gonna find out eventually, so why even keep it a secret at this point? So we tell people, and then not even a couple weeks later, there is a new rumor going around saying that we were screwing in the woods. Fucking classic, okay? Which, might I add, I'm not giving any clarification if any rumors are true or not, just because I don't owe any clarification. But I will say, though, that was pretty far fucking stretched from what was actually happening. So, shout out to whoever made that rumor. See, I thought it was Ashley who made that rumor at first, because we were going through a lot of friendship troubles, okay? So, with that being said, I thought it was her, but eventually, a couple months later, in the, like, middle, like, March, April, I think it was May, kind of, we found out that it was actually Jenna who spread those rumors that we were doing it in the damn woods. And I was like, haha, like, so funny, but I decided literally not to tell her, because, like, to, like, confront her or anything, because, like, I had enough problems, and I just didn't want any more. So I kind of just, like, was like, yeah, whatever, like, it is what it is. But we would still kind of hang out, like, here and there. Like, funny thing is, I tried doing shit for this bitch, and it just backfired in my face. Like, the one day, what am I even doing? I'm not even done with my eyeshadow. The one day, she comes to my house crying while me, my boyfriend, and then 2 other kids are on my trampoline. And she comes to my house crying. She's like, oh my god, like, these teenagers at the park, like, they took my bike. I need you to go get it. So, me being me, I was like, okay, stay here. I'm gonna go get your bike. And Ben, knowing all the troubles I've had with kids at the park and everything, is like, I'm coming with you. So I'm like, okay, so we go, and we go to find her bike, and they pretty much just start shit with us. They're like, going off, they try cornering my boyfriend, and I pull out my self-defense ready to use it. But thankfully I didn't have to, because I would have too. Like, I wouldn't have held back. When we get back to my house, Jenna's friend that I literally hate, like, she's so snobby. We're gonna call her Becky. Becky was there, and I was like, because Becky was literally like, no, like, we do not like each other, but, like, we'll, like, be kind of, like, nice to each other's faces. But she kept, like, looking at me weird, and I was like, okay, like, everybody who's at the park needs to fucking leave. Just get out of here. Just go. I don't want you here. Bye, sis. And me and my boyfriend were gonna go in the backyard, but that never ended up happening because Jenna was so upset, so she stayed with us, and we just wanted to hang out with our friends and everything, but we couldn't do that because literally the drama was just unreal. But the one day, you know, see, things like that kept happening. Like the one day she was like, oh, like, do you want to hang out with us because I'm bored? Like, can I hang out with you guys? Like, or do you want to hang out with us? And it was her, Becky, and then me and my boyfriend's good friend, and then, I think another person. There was definitely another person, I can't remember. And then, I was like, yeah, like, sure. Because in reality, I did not want to hang out with this bitch. I was like, you started enough rumors. You've literally been such a fake-ass bitch. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to hang out with you, girl. But obviously, I didn't want to say no to her, so I was just like, yeah, cool, like, alright, what do you guys want to do? And my boyfriend didn't want them hang out with us either, as much as I didn't. So, I mean, there's that, but we pretty much somehow ended up deciding on going to this abandoned-ass house. Well, there's, like, this brick building, a couple, like, streets, like, away from my house, and we decided on pretty much going there. Because they're like, oh, like, I want to see it. And me and my boyfriend were like, this is a bad idea. Like, we knew from the start it was a bad idea. They started walking, so everybody else pretty much just like, somehow we just ended up there. We get there, and me and my boyfriend go up to the upstairs, and we're talking and everything about how we want these bitches gone. Like, because we were just getting annoyed with them. They were being loud. And then these idiots. There's this abandoned house right next to the abandoned house we were in, right? Like, there's two abandoned houses, like, side by side. And so, the younger kids, a.k.a. Becky, Jenna, and I, start running around outside and going inside of the abandoned house that was right next to the one me and my boyfriend were in. And they kept coming up and, like, making jokes like, haha, they're probably doing it up here. Which wasn't true. It wasn't even true in the slightest. Like, literally, that's disgusting. But, you know, I decided to just not even say anything because I just knew that if I said something, there would be a fight. And then all of a sudden, me and my boyfriend are talking, and we hear this loud-ass crash. It turns out that loud-ass crash was one of the kids, a.k.a. I, decided to throw a fucking brick through this window, and it broke. The window literally shattered. And there's a bar right across from this place, and the people at the bar who were outside the bar were contemplating on calling the cops. So Jenna and Becky went up the stairs, and they're like, to the house me and my boyfriend were in at the time, and it's like, hey, like, I recommend you get the actual F out of here, because there's literally going to be cops coming. Like, I broke the window with a big brick. And I was like, y'all are stupid because you keep running in and out of the house, okay? Like, first of all, so people can see you. And then people were going to check it out. And it was just a mess. And then I didn't know this at the time, but my friend Brandon, literally he's so funny, by the way. One day, me and Ben were walking with Brandon, right? And Brandon's like, oh yeah, like, I remember that because she was, like, telling everybody, like, well, he was like, oh yeah, I was there that day. Me and my friend, we're gonna call her, okay. Me and Kate were there that day, like, we were at that house when they were running in and out of the fucking house, but we didn't know you guys were there. I was like, yeah, we were in the one, like, next door. And they're like, oh yeah, like, they were saying that, pretty much just making a whole bunch of rumors up, and I'll get into that in a second. But long story short, Jenna pretty much ended up spreading rumors that me and my boyfriend were screwing in that house. Just like we were apparently screwing in the woods. And I was pissed off when I found out about this. I didn't find out about this until a couple days after. But pretty much she was spreading that rumor while we were right inside that house, and we literally weren't, though. That's the thing that pissed me off. We literally weren't. We were sitting there talking about how much we want these little bitches gone because they're literally being so annoying and so loud, and they're pretty much about to get us all in trouble. And so eventually we just leave the house. But I was pissed off. I was just like, okay, like she's gonna sit here and act all goody in my face, but then go behind my back and start spreading shit around. Literally love that. So, what did I decide to do? I decided I wanted to fight this bitch, but she's a couple years younger than me, so I decided not to. I was like, well, I do want to fight this bitch, but I'm not. So, instead of fighting her, I decided that I was still going to get back at her. So, around this time, it's also important to mention that my cousin, Ryan, he started becoming friends with pretty much everyone me and Ben were / kind of still were friends with. So he pretty much knew all the kids around the neighborhood as much as we started to. And plus I would tell him all the tea 24/7, like, oh, this person wants to fight this person. So eventually the one day, Ben and I are like, okay, like, we need to get this bitch back. Because you can't fight her because, first of all, you're a guy and you wouldn't do that anyway. Second of all, I can't fight her because I'm literally a couple years older than her. So, fighting is not gonna happen. Which I wanted to fight her, but it was just like, I literally can't. Like, and then considering her age, I wanted to fight her less and less anyway, so I knew it wasn't gonna happen if I even wanted to. I was just like, okay, we're gonna drop the fighting, and we're gonna spread rumors. So, what do? We get Ryan, and I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you. So, when my boyfriend goes to his house to grab money to go to the store, Ryan is talking to me in my front yard, and I pretty much start making up lies, okay? And you guys are probably wondering what those lies were. So, pretty much, I looked at Ryan, and I was like, oh yeah, like, Jenna was talking shit about you. She said how pathetic you are, how much she hates being your friend, and she doesn't even, like, know why she actually kind of wants to date you, which was a complete fucking lie, because I didn't even know who she liked, and, well, I did. It was I. She liked I, and I kind of liked her back, but I was like, no, like, don't do it. Like, me and my boyfriend, like, no, like, bro, don't do that shit. Do not do that shit. She will literally ruin your life. Don't do that shit. She will spread rumors about you. Don't do it. You can do it if you want, but we were just warning you. And he didn't end up dating her, thank God, but like, yeah. And then I was like, oh yeah, like, she was also talking shit about Becky, and Becky's one friend who we are going to call Jane. Like, oh yeah, she was talking shit about Becky and Jane too. Becky was like her best friend, keep in mind. Becky was Jenna's best friend. Like, they would tell each other everything, and they would always hang out. And I was just like, oh yeah, like, she was talking shit about Becky. She was talking shit about Jane. She was talking shit about you, Ryan. Like, I pretty much just said this girl was talking shit about everyone she was friends with. And that's when the tea really started, because people were like, oh yeah, like, they were planning on going to her, like, going up to her, like, the next day and, like, literally slapping her across the face. And that's when I kind of felt bad. I literally started to feel bad about this, because I was never the spreading rumors type. But I started looking at all the times that she had spread rumors about my boyfriend and I started feeling less and less bad. It was honestly whatever. And she got slapped. Like, she lied to everyone's faces 24/7. And then my cousin, see, we had originally said that there was some girl named Natasha that just moved in the neighborhood that was saying all this. And my cousin, when me and my boyfriend weren't around, literally was just like, oh yeah, like, there isn't no Natasha. Like, it's them. They said it. There's no Natasha. And so everybody comes up to us and is like, so was she talking shit or no? And why the fuck did you lie about some bitch, Natasha? And me and my boyfriend just look at each other and we're like, shit. But then I was like, no, I lied so that people wouldn't know it was me. Kind of stupid, I know, but like, who cares? But yeah, literally, it was just a fucking mess. And then people literally started hitting her because I was like, I swear on God, she's talking. Sorry if the video got cut there, but I had to stop, like, actually, like, letting that clip continue to roll because I accidentally said, like, one of the girls' actual names. But I was like, Becky, like, yeah, like, she was actually talking shit about you. She said this, this, and this. Like, if I were you, I just wouldn't be friends with her. And everybody was pissed at her. Like, everybody wanted to go fight her, as I said. And it was just like, y'all can fight her, but I cannot get involved because I'm 15. So, you can have your little elementary school fight moments. Not even elementary school, it's honestly middle school. Yeah, it's middle school. You can have your little middle school fight, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And since then, we have not seen Jenna because Jenna moved all the way to Florida. Which we thought she was lying about that too at first because she literally lied about literally everything. So I was like, haha, yeah, maybe we're not even going to get that lucky because she lies about everything. She probably didn't even move to Florida. She did. She noped out of here. Which honestly, thank God, because like, I was just getting so pissed off with all of her bullshit. So I'm glad that she moved. Literally one less POS to worry about, pretty much. But anyway, that is it for today's story time. I'm just going to do my lips real quick. Don't even know how I'm going to do my lips, being honest. I think I'm just going to add some of this dark lipstick. So honestly, like, if you made it this far in the video, I'm going to start saying this in, like, my next upcoming story times. But, like, if you guys have any interesting story times, I'm going to start putting my Instagram in the comments, where you can go DM my Instagram and be like, oh yeah, like, just send in one of your story times. If you have, like, an interesting story time, send in your story times. It could be about whatever, and I will tell it in first person while I do my makeup. But I will give you credits for the story time. Unless you want to, actually no, I'll have you remain anonymous. But yeah, if you want to send in your story times, I'll have my Instagrams in the description, not the description, as I said, the comment section. And yeah, I know my story times are pretty wild. Kind of just, I don't know, like, my life's a mess, okay? Period. But anyways, I have more story times that I need to film today. And I will see you guys in my next video. But real quick, I'm just going to add this lip gloss. I literally love this lip gloss, and I got it right there. Kind of sucks, but I'm not going to fix it. Just got to take a thumbnail real quick so I can post this video. Actually, no, I don't even have to post this video. I just want to get the thumbnail done and over with while I have all the makeup on my face. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you guys in my next video, and bye guys.